I want to share, but when I come down here, I never know what I'm going to talk about. These messages seem specific and they seem to be in order, but I'm going to be honest with you. When I have the camera and I'm going to the area that I'm going to film, I don't know what I'm going to say at all. Nothing. I blank my mind, completely blanked out, because I know when the time comes, if I don't plan what I'm going to say, He's going to help me. You say, oh, he's such a good speaker. He speaks so good. If you met me, you wouldn't think that. It's only because of Him that these videos have come out the way that they have. And I think right now I'm supposed to share a little bit of my story with you. Anybody's heard of King Solomon from the Bible. You've seen movies, King Solomon's Mines, and the reason they always do those movies about King Solomon's Mines is he had a lot of treasures. It's well documented, not just in the Bible, but in many other places in history, that he was a rich king. He was like one of the richest kings ever documented. He had, more territories and more treasures, and his length of rule was long and peaceful and successful. And you've always heard of the wisdom of Solomon. And that's because that when he was anointed the king, he prayed to God, and he really touched God's heart with what he asked for. He didn't ask for riches. He didn't ask for this big kingdom. He asked for the wisdom to rule his people well. He didn't pray for himself. He prayed for the care and protection of his people. He didn't think of himself. And that touched God's heart. And God says, you know what? Not only am I going to give you the wisdom that no one's ever seen before, but I'm also going to bless you with this great reign and these great treasures, and to be one of the greatest kings there ever was. And not that I'm going to compare myself to Solomon, but I'm not. But what I will compare myself to him is in a prayer. Because when I went to the Lord in prayer, I didn't really pray for myself. What I prayed for was, I wanted to open my heart, because I knew it was closed. And I know you hard cases, man, you hardened your heart a long time ago, just like me. I was just like that. But I prayed for two things. One, open my heart. Two, to see the truth. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to open my heart, and I wanted to see the truth. And I prayed for this one thing for 89 days straight. So, if you're praying and you're thinking it's not working or whatever, you're sick with it. But this is my story. I prayed for 89 days. And I took these walks that I told you to take. Why do you think I tell you to take them? I took these walks, good exercise, good fresh air and everything, these conversations with God, man. Because He's listening. He's listening. And you'll touch His heart. Believe me, you will. He made you, and you're going to touch His heart. He made you to touch His heart. And anyway, for 89 days, I prayed to open my heart and to see the truth. And on the 89th day, man, He hit me with a thunderbolt. That's when He opened my heart, and when He healed my heart, and He showed me the truth. One of these days, I'm going to try to piece together and explain the truths that He showed me. What you see from me sometimes is just a reflection of some of those truths that I have instilled in me. But He laid the whammy on me. He laid it on me. I asked Him every question that I could think of, and His answers were so fast and so deep and so pure and so infallible. He spoke to me in words, in thoughts, in feelings, in images, so He could explain to my little feeble mind the answers to these big questions, like, why did this happen to me? Why are people the way they are? Why do bad things happen in the world? Why is the world the way it is? What's the deal with good and evil? What's the deal with sin? As soon as I got an answer, bam, I went with another question, another question, another question. And if you've ever seen the movie The Dead Zone with Christopher Walken, he grabs a hold of somebody, and he gets a vision, and you can see the effect that it has on his body. He's like, oh, it's like, there's another, like The Green Mile, when Tom Hanks is grabbed by the prisoner and given a vision. You see the kind of trauma, or whatever you want to call it, that his body goes through. that's the way it hit me. I mean, it was like, when this was happening, it was so intense that I could hardly stand it. It doubled me over on the sidewalk. And some of you are gonna have this experience, and you're gonna have it when you realize that God has taken away your obsession to use, your obsession to drink. When you realize that you probably won't know it when it happens, but at some point after that, you'll sit there and you'll stop and you'll go, I don't want to drink. You know, or I don't want to use drugs. I don't feel the need to use drugs anymore. That's when you're going to realize that He loves you. And when you realize He loves you, a lot of your conceptions and your ideas about life are going to change. And they're going to change fast. And it's going to probably be an explosion, you know, of thought and emotion. And